So I did a live stream a few days ago about this Simone and Jonathan Owens situation, and I want to add some additional thoughts after seeing how Black people, and especially Black men, have been responding to this for the last few days, because I think it's very important for Black women to see the manipulation and the game the Black community is trying to run on Black women regarding this, because some of you are missing it. The first thing I want to address is the popular narrative that Black men and some Black women are pushing about Black women thinking Simone is not pretty enough for Jonathan, and how that is the reason we think he's not that into her, and why we think he chose her primarily for status. According to them, we are supposedly projecting because we don't think she's attractive enough for this so-called pretty boy. And that talking point makes absolutely no sense when you consider the fact that Black women were celebrating, idolizing, and swooning over this relationship before Jonathan went on that podcast. Black women just didn't pull this out of thin air. It's not our perception. It's not that we are projecting anything onto Simone. It has everything to do with the way Jonathan conducted himself on that podcast. So it's a lot of gaslighting happening towards Black women, trying to make us feel crazy for picking up on what was clearly there right in front of everybody's faces. And some of y'all were even under my last live stream talking about, oh, well, Chrissy, you didn't watch the whole interview. You're missing parts of the conversation. And so I went to watch the whole thing. And I'm more convinced now than I was before that Jonathan has a lukewarm attraction to Simone. The interview was actually worse than I thought, and it proved everything I said in my last live stream. Not only did he say that if she didn't message him first, he probably wouldn't have reached out, but his reaction to Simone sending him pictures of her doing the splits, trying to be sexy for him, and seeing the way he cringed in response to that confirms what I said in my last live stream. So no, it's not about us projecting. We're going off of what Jonathan said. And really what it is that a lot of these Black men, they want to continue to be hypergamous, continue to use and leech off of these successful Black women that they aren't really attracted to like that. They want to be able to do that in peace. And now all of a sudden, everybody is concerned about self-esteem and how Black women think Simone is ugly, and how we were talking about her hair on her wedding day, and how we always talk about Black women's hair. They brought up Gabby Douglas and how Black women were harassing her. And these are the same people who are online saying every other day that women who look like Simone, women who look like Gabby, are average at best and they don't deserve high value men. I also don't recall any of them taking up for Simone, taking up for Gabby, when those self-hating Black women were talking about their hair. But now all of a sudden y'all care about texturism and y'all care about colorism. Why don't y'all ever say something in the moment when it actually counts? Why don't y'all ever say anything against these colorist Black men, since you care so much about colorism and texturism? Because you don't really care. That's why. To see my exclusive content, visit Chrissy VIP at ChrissyOnline.com, and be sure to join the mailing list for updates on future videos. The links are in the description box. Please like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching. And it's wild because even as they say we are projecting because we think Simone isn't pretty enough for Jonathan, they are saying the same thing, either directly or in a roundabout way. Oh, she ain't that cute. She may be a 5 or a 6, but she fit, feminine, and friendly, and that's why Jonathan married her. Oh, well, average and below average women, they gotta pursue men to get what they want. Simone just did what she had to do. So y'all are basically saying the same thing you claim Black women are saying. Y'all don't think Simone is that attractive. Your attraction to Simone is just as lukewarm as Jonathan's was when he first saw her, and under normal circumstances y'all wouldn't be lifting her up at all. You're just doing it for the same reason Jonathan married her, because of who she is. You're happy that she married a Black man, and you're happy that he has access to her wealth and status, and you're mad that Black women are calling it like we see it. And look, I'm also fully aware that not every Black woman, not every woman in general, is going to be hypergamous. Not all of us care about that. Not all of us are capable of being hypergamous. But that doesn't mean you have to tolerate being used and being embarrassed and disrespected publicly by the man that you're with. And that is the point here, ladies. And something I want Black women to understand is that Black men in particular are defending Simone because another Black man, a man that looks like them, was able to secure the bag with a world-renowned gymnast. They are living vicariously through Jonathan, and this is validation for them because of who Simone is. They're not going to be honest about this, but that is the truth. If Jonathan was white, They will be making fun of Simone for chasing him and marrying down, just like they did Serena Williams, and just like they did after they found out Jodie Turner-Smith proposed and pursued her soon-to-be ex-husband. When Serena got married to Alexis, they went on and on about how she is one of the best tennis players in the world. She married down. She married a quote-unquote nobody. But when it comes to Simone, all of a sudden her accomplishments isn't what makes her a good woman or a wife. All of a sudden a woman's accomplishments don't matter. Well, why did they matter with Serena? See, it's very important that Black women recognize the double standards here. Y'all need to stop letting Black men especially get away with changing their talking points and completely changing the narrative to benefit Black men. When it comes to Jonathan and Simone, they fully support Black women pursuing men and treating them like the prize because he's Black. If he were non-Black, this would be unacceptable and she would be labeled desperate and thirsty. And they would say that the non-Black man ain't really want her like that. And she's desperate for dating down and pursuing him. And mark my words, ladies, if this relationship fails between Simone and Jonathan, they're going to completely turn on Simone. They're going to blame her for the fall of the relationship, or they're going to blame Black women as a whole somehow. There's absolutely no consistency with these men in the community. If you remember, when I found out Jodie pursued her husband, I said, hell no, ladies, this is not the standard. You don't chase men. My opinion on that did not change just because the man was white. And if my stance did change, y'all would call me out on it. But nobody is calling out Black men in particular for their bias in this regard. It's perfectly okay for all these Black women to propose to Black men. All these videos going viral of Black women proposing to Black men. But as soon as a Black woman proposes to a non-Black man, it's a problem. And for those who are saying, oh, well, if Jonathan didn't like Simone or he wasn't attracted to her, he wouldn't have married her. Okay, so what about these white men who married Black women that y'all claim don't really like them like that? Why is it only possible for a non-Black man to marry a Black woman he doesn't like? See, the truth is that non-traditional men will marry women for status. This is men of all races, but it is more common with Black men. So no, it is not impossible for a man to marry a woman they have a lukewarm attraction to. It just depends on the kind of man we're dealing with. And I'll say it again, ladies, if you are okay with a man not being strongly attracted to you and you can be happy and content with that, fine. My message is not for you. I am realistic enough to understand that not everyone is going to get their fantasy partner in terms of looks. And I'm not saying it's impossible for it to work with a man who's not that into you physically. I am just telling you that it usually works better when the physical attraction from the man in particular is strong, because men are more visual than women. And you know the attraction is strong because men will initiate and chase you and treat you like you are the prize, not the other way around. And look, nobody is saying that women can't appreciate men or think that they're valuable in the relationship. And yes, women do have to give something in return in a relationship, but women give different things. And in a traditional relationship dynamic, the woman is always considered the prize. Women are the reward after a man proves that he can provide, produce, and protect a woman and a family. Yes, provider, producer, and protector men are valuable. You can consider them select men, but they are not the quote-unquote prize. The woman is. And any man arguing that is not really a traditional man, which we know most Black men in particular are not, which is why they're pretty much the only group of men running around saying that they are the prize. And I saw a lot of people saying, oh, well, Simone is competitive. She's going to go after what she wants. Some women don't have the luxury of sitting pretty and waiting on a man to approach them. And I do understand where y'all are coming from. I hear what you're saying. But dropping hints and flirting with men in a subtle or indirect way to show that you're interested or to get in his line of sight, that is completely different from flat out pursuing and chasing men. And it's important that you guys know the difference. And look, if you big, bad, and bold and you want to approach men, keep doing your thing. Just know that you run the risk of getting used and getting men who aren't into you physically when you pursue and chase them like that. If you want to take that risk, then fine. Just don't be delusional about the kind of men you're most likely going to end up with. Simone made the first move and got the ring from a millionaire NFL player, but that's because she's Simone Biles, not because she approached him. The average woman that is approaching men left and right, chasing men, pursuing men, is likely not going to get that same outcome. Most of you are not going to get a man with that much money. And if Jonathan is embarrassing Simone like this, what do you think you're going to get? Y'all need to be realistic here. And I did see where Simone said that we want her to be insecure so bad. And let me say that I do think Simone is very secure in her skill as an athlete, as an Olympian. And I think she is a huntress. I think she's bold when it comes to men. She isn't afraid to approach them or chase them. I think she's confident in that area. But two things can be true at once. You can be secure and confident in one area and fall short in the other. And we know that she's not secure about her looks because she said she wanted Zendaya to play her in a biopic. And I'll say again that how women, and especially unambiguous Black women, feel about their own beauty, it greatly influences the way they choose men, the way they approach relationships, for better or for worse. They tend to be very colorist, very desperate for light-skinned men and white men and light-skinned babies. And the men pick up on that and they exploit their desperation. When it comes to these women, their self-esteem is so low that they have a severe blind spot when it comes to men and relationships, and they end up getting used and sometimes abused by men who they find very attractive but just aren't really into them, and they also have ulterior motives. They're so desperate and blinded by their lack of self-esteem that they can't even pick up on when these men lie, because Jonathan definitely lied about not knowing who Simone was. Even the other men on the podcast picked up on the fact that he was lying. So, I mean, come on. So, all of us have blind spots in certain areas. We all can't be good at everything. And men relationships is unfortunately where Simone's blind spot is, as is the case for a lot of successful Black women, which is why a lot of these successful, especially these celebrity Black women, end up getting burnt in these kind of relationships. It's a pattern at this point. But Simone has to learn this on her own, and she'll likely have to learn the hard way like all of them do. And I see a lot of the community saying, oh, well, the women complaining can't get a man like Jonathan. They dealing with Pookie and Ray Ray trying to tell Simone how to date. And to me, this is just one of the weakest talking points, because none of these men will ever have Alexis Ohanian money. They will never have Joshua Jackson money. But that did not stop them from talking about them and the Black women they married. Y'all talk about men and women that y'all don't compare to financially all the time, but suddenly it's off limits for an everyday Black woman to talk about a celebrity Black woman dating a low quality man if she's never dated a millionaire. Okay, well that means y'all are disqualified to speak on Lori Harvey, Sierra, Russell Wilson, Michael B. Jordan, and all the other rich men and women and their relationships that y'all have criticized. See, Black women, y'all gotta stop letting Black men and the Black community hold you to these bogus standards and rules that they don't even require from Black men. If they can speak on Serena Williams and Lori Harvey and Sierra, all the women that they will never qualify for or have access to, then everyday Black women can speak on Jonathan Owens. See, what the Black people who are defending Jonathan aren't saying is that many of them married women they aren't attracted to like that, like Jonathan did. Or if they're women, they have husbands who don't like them like that. And it's just too painful for them to admit that. But that is the truth for many of them. They see themselves in Simone and they see the men they chose in Jonathan. So they're jumping to defend him in their relationship. The women saying we could never get a rich man like Simone's husband, they don't have one either. Most of them got to get online and pander to red pill men to pay their bills. Most of them talking about how lonely and strong and independent we are also independent women. They're boss chicks too. They're paying half or more of the bills. But because they got a Black man, they think they winning. Well, ladies, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's a new day. Many of us don't want to be you. We don't want the relationships that you have. We have higher standards in men. We not just gonna get married to anybody just to say we have a husband or just to say we have a Black man. And to the Black men saying we're bitter and lonely and can't get a man, y'all are the same men online crying about women day in and day out and talking about how you got to leave the country to get a woman. That is as non-select as it gets. And the vast majority of the women y'all are shaming, one thing we don't have to do is go to another country to get a quality man. So ladies, please don't let these loser men convince you that you got to chase men and settle for men who don't really like you like that just to say you have one, just to have bragging rights. No, they're nothing to brag about. So yeah, I just wanted to make this little follow-up video because the manipulation is out of control. And this is how Black women stay getting caught up. So please don't fall for it, ladies. So I am done here. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll catch up with you in the next video.